Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise regretfully this morning and sadly this morning to discuss what I believe is a true transgression that took place in our House yesterday. I was appalled by the behavior displayed by the chairman of the Subcommittee on TARP and Financial Services. After repeatedly changing the time of yesterday's hearing with Professor Elizabeth Warren to discuss the Republican majority's efforts to terminate the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau just weeks before it was to be born, the chairman began the hearing with a petty partisan swipe alluding to whether the witness may or may not be running someday for the U.S. Senate. As if, Mr. Speaker, political ambition is taboo around here. While the overall tone of the hearing was contentious, that's to be expected. After all, the goal of the hearing was for my colleagues on the Republican side to paint the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau as something that is bad for consumers. Why? Because this new Consumer Bureau's mission is to make Wall Street play by the rules. What a novel idea. But you see, Wall Street believes that it can take care of itself. As it turned out, the hearing was a wonderful opportunity for Americans to see not only how far the influence of financial institutions reaches into Congress, but also how competent, confident, and unflappable a public servant Professor Warren is. Were it up to me, the President would just appoint her to head the CFPB and let her get on with leveling the playing for American consumers when they borrow or invest their hard-earned money. Mr. Speaker, Professor Warren answered every question posed to her for the entire hour for which she was asked to testify. When members were called to the floor for 2 votes, the chairman asked her to stay and wait, and Ms. Warren politely responded that she was told she'd be released at 2:15 and had another meeting at 2:30. What followed was a scene that, had it happened in a junior high student council meeting, would have been stopped by the faculty advisor. Unfortunately, though, our subcommittee is without any kind of adult supervision. The chairman repeatedly made the same request ad nauseum of Professor Warren, who answered the same each time. She explained that the majority staff had changed the meeting logistics several times, including a 9 o'clock call the previous night to move the hearing from 1:30 to 1:15 to accommodate the congressional calendar. Professor Warren, through her staff, agreed to the change and was told that she would be done at 2:15. Pretty simple, right? This is when the chairman crossed the line and told Professor Warren, "You're making this up." That's right, he called her a liar. A witness at his committee who juggled her schedule to accommodate him, an advisor to the President of the United States who was given an oath at the start of the hearing to tell the truth and nothing but the truth, he called her a liar. Mr. Speaker, I ask today that the chairman of the subcommittee, the gentleman from North Carolina, Mr. McHenry, immediately and sincerely apologize to Professor Warren. I also believe he should apologize to the members of the subcommittee, both in the majority and the minority, for denigrating the proceedings of a body and pledge to never allow the political agenda to interfere with common decency and respect that the rest of us understand is absolutely necessary in order to do the people's work. However, I won't hold my breath, because this is part of a much larger strategy by my colleagues on the Republican side to paint everyone in public service as liars, cheats, or otherwise as despicable. On the same day, the chairman of the Oversight Committee did virtually the exact same thing to Mr. Hayes, the Deputy Secretary of the Department of Interior, advising him not to answer a question because he's under oath, implying that certainly anything the Deputy Secretary might say would be untrue. Mr. Speaker, we need to do better. Regardless of political affiliation, the American people demand it. Civility and common respect are not signs of weakness or capitulation. They are hallmarks of a functioning democracy. An apology probably won't be forthcoming, but civility must be restored to this House, or at least school monitors to prevent spitballs from being thrown around in committee hearings. I yield back.